This chapter is about proportion and variation, and in this video we're going to set up equations and solve problems involving direct proportion, including graphical and algebraic representations. If you're revising, you can have a go at these two questions, pause the video, and then below there's two more. Okay, so look at the most simple case first of all. When two values are related to one another, they are said to be proportional. If one value increases as the other increases, they are said to be directly proportional. So the key here is that one's increasing and the other one is increasing as well. And that means that they are directly proportional. You might see it say it varies as instead of directly proportional. So varies and proportional can be used interchangeably. So in question 1, we've got 240 grams of strawberries cost £1.89. How much would 160 grams cost? So the idea is here that they are directly proportional, because if you increase the amount of strawberries, the weight, you would increase the cost. And it works both ways. If you decrease the weight, you would decrease the cost. Now, our technique we'd use for this here would depend if it's calculated or not. I would use potentially the unitary method if the numbers are really difficult. This could be non-calculator. We've got 240 grams and 160 grams, and I can see there is a common factor of 80. So what I'm going to do is get the 240 grams, which is £1.89. I'm going to divide that by 3, because that would get me 80 grams. And that would be 63 pence. And then if I know 80 grams, I can get 160 grams, because that's double. And that is £1.26. So your answer is £1.26. Okay, your other approach there with the numbers weren't so nice, or if you didn't spot that, would just be to divide by the weight. So get what 1 gram is worth by dividing by 240. And then you need 160, so times by 160. Question 2. It takes 140 minutes to cycle 25 miles. How long will it take to cycle 15 miles? We'll assume we're going at the same speed throughout our average speed. This is also direct proportion, because if you increase the number of minutes, you'd expect to go further. And if you increase the miles, you'd expect it to take longer. So increasing one will increase the other, and if you decrease one, the other one should decrease too. So they are directly proportional. And we can do 25 mile in 140 minutes. And we want to know how long it would take to cycle 15 miles. And I can see a link between 25 and 15. I can find out how long it would take to go 5 miles. And that would be dividing by 5. That would give you 28. So you do 5 miles in 28 minutes. 15 miles is 3 times as much, so we'd be wanting to times that by 3. So 15 miles in 84 minutes. And you might want to say 1 hour 24 minutes. You wouldn't often say 84 minutes. Now, that is for more straightforward questions. Other questions will require you setting up an equation. You could set up an equation for these ones too, but it's not really essential, whereas later on it's quite important. And if you can get away with, in these questions, not writing an equation, I wouldn't recommend it. Follow this technique, because could be marks and they could ask you to set up the equation, and then you need to learn that skill. So this technique could be difficult initially, but make sure that you learn each line of the method until you get used to it. So if two amounts are directly proportional, this means one amount is so many times bigger than the other amount. So for example, the diameter and radius of a circle are proportional, as the diameter is 2 times bigger than the radius. If the diameter is varied by making it bigger or smaller, this is a direct impact on the radius. If two amounts A and B are directly proportional, we can write A, and that's sometimes going to be drawn as like a little fish. That's a proportional sign. So it means A is proportional to B. And if A is proportional to B, this means that A is equal to B multiplied by some number that we don't know. So A is equal to B times a certain amount K. K is called the constant of proportionality. It's usually something you'll have to work out. You'll first of all be told or deduce things are proportional. You'll then have to find out K to get what the equation is. If A and B are proportional, it can also be written A varies directly as B. So let's have a look at question number 1 and employ that technique. Number 1. The weight of a metal beam is directly proportional to its length. Let's break that down before we go any further. The weight of the metal beam, we're going to call that W. So W represents the weight of the beam in algebra. It is directly proportional. We said this sign here means directly proportional, so we can put a little sign there. And what is it directly proportional to? Its length, and that's called the length L. So just bring that together down the bottom. We've got W is proportional or directly proportional to L. A beam which is 4 meters long weighs 10 kilograms. That's important. We'll use that in a minute. Part A, we have to calculate how many times bigger the weight is than the length, i.e. find out K. So we already have written down that the weight is proportional to the length. And if that's true, the weight will be equal to the length multiplied by some number K, which you need to find out. So how are we going to find it? They'll give you information in the question to help you find the K. So it's 4 meters long, that's your L. So we have 4K on the right hand side, and the weight is 10, that's your W. So W, or 10, equals 4K. So divide both sides by 4, you get 10 over 4, 5 over 2. Sometimes it's nicer as a fraction, but 2.5 is probably better in this case. So that K means that the weight is 2.5 times bigger than the length. Now they're different quantities. Length is not the same measurement as a weight. So we're just talking about the numerical value here. You get the length and you multiply it by 2.5 and that gives you the weight. Part B. If a beam is 6 meters long, how much does it weigh? Well, we've got an equation now. Didn't ask for the equation in part A, usually it will. The equation is W equals KL, but we know that K is 2.5, so the equation is W equals 2.5 L. And we can work out any weights or any lengths from that equation. That there is very important. In every question you do in proportion, you're going to try and get that equation. You'll not really be able to go any further without that. So always work at getting that. Now we need to work out the weight. So we want to work out W. And we're told that the beam is 6 meters long, so that is L. So that's 12 and 3, which is 15. So that'll be 15 kilograms. Question 2. The distance an object falls is directly proportional to the square of the time it has been falling. So let's break that one down. The distance an object falls, we'll call that D, is directly proportional to, we'll put our symbol, and it's not just proportional to time, T here. You need to make sure you see every single word. It's proportional to the square of the time. So you'd have to get the time and square it. Let's write that down below. D is proportional to t squared. So the distance an object falls, d, is directly proportional to the square of the time it has been falling, so t squared. We're then told that after 4 seconds it's fallen 24 meters. How long will it take to fall 96 meters? There's not much structure in this question, but you go through the same process as with the question 1. You'll want to work out the equation. So we change this proportionality into an equation by saying that if d is proportional to t squared, d must be equal to t squared multiplied by some number k. We're then told that after 4 seconds, it's fallen 24 meters. So that will get us a value of k, so we have an equation. So 4 is the time and 24 is the distance. 24 equals k multiplied by 4 squared, or 24 equals 16k. So that's 24 over 16, which would be 12 over 8, which is 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2, which is 1.5. Or just put it in the calculator. Now, why have I done that? That has given us an equation now that d is equal to, instead of k, we've got 1.5. And we can do anything with that. What do we want to do with it? D equals 1.5 t squared. In this question, we want to use it to find how long it will take to fall 96 meters. So the distance is going to be 96. We're going to divide that by 1.5, which would be 64. And if t squared is 64, we can square root both sides to get that t is the square root of 64, which is 8. So 8 seconds. Just a little note in that, if you're happy you can stop the video, but it took 4 seconds to go 24 meters. You didn't just double the time and double the meters. That didn't work. It gets faster as it goes along, and that's why it didn't say d is proportional to t. Okay, because it gets faster as time progresses, it's proportional to t squared. So we can't just assume if you see directly proportional that you can just scale it up, double and triple both sides like in previous questions. You have to read all the question, and this here says square, so that makes a big difference. So we just saw 2 examples, but we're going to just summarize, maybe see a few different ones. If you see in the question that y is proportional to x, you would write down y is proportional to x. If you see that y is proportional to the square of x, you would write y is proportional to x squared. But there's many other ones. We've got the third one here, y is proportional to the cube x, or the cube of x. Y is proportional to x cubed. And the last one, y is proportional to the square root of x. Y is proportional to x, the square root of x. So read the full question to make sure you get that bit right. If you get that bit wrong, the whole question then is wrong. So to finish off, we're going to look at representing these proportions graphically. So proportionality can be represented graphically. We see below that for direct proportion, as one value increases, the other value increases. So if you take the coordinates in this graph, the x value is getting bigger as we go to the right, but also the y value is getting bigger as well. So as one increases, the other one does. And same for this one here, just at different rates because it's going at different gradients. Now direct proportion, just says direct proportion, doesn't say the square or the cube, but just direct proportion is linear, so it produces a straight line. So y varies directly as x, or y is equal to kx. This is a linear graph passing through the origin. If you have directly proportional to the square, that's a quadratic and is an upwards curve. So that would be y varies directly as x squared, and you get y equals x squared, and you can see that's part of a quadratic graph. You just don't look at the negative part in this question, and it's usually maybe a physical concept which didn't have a negative. So this is a curved graph passing through the origin. You have to be able to identify those graphs and spot, oh, that's directly proportional to the square, that's directly proportional, and as you go into M8, you'll have to distinguish between those and other graphs.